What's up YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Reclaim Your Glow. My name is Desirae Monique. I am a yoga teacher, a Reiki practitioner, a passionate Buddhist, and a self-love advocate. So in today's video, we're going to dive deep into one of my most favorite words in the English dictionary, and that is empathy. So over the past couple of weeks, if you've been following my Instagram, I've been sharing some stories about how I have had moments of feeling quite debilitated and unable to stand on my own 2 feet and fight the good fight, which perpetuates me into these spirals of depression, lack of drive, and a tender heart of sadness that keeps me from taking action. I just want to say that if you are feeling that, or you have felt that the past couple of weeks, I want to say that you are not alone and that you do not need to be ashamed. Your feelings are fluctuating, they're always changing. Just like waves of the ocean, they're coming in crashing and settling down onto the shore. And if you're feeling this crippling, overwhelming sense of sadness, of weight and heaviness, just know that it will change, it will lighten up, and you will be able to take action to support those that need support and give what you need to give to show up for the world during this time. So let's talk about empathy. So empathy is this beautiful word. If you look up the definition online, it gives you quite a watered down version. I think it's quite watered down, but it says empathy is to understand or share the feelings of one another. So I want to make the really clear distinction between empathy and sympathy, which are two words that a lot of people get confused. When you look up sympathy, when you look up the definition, it says to have pity or sorrow for another's misfortune. And with sympathy, whether this is your intention or not, when you feel sympathy for someone and you sit there and you say, "Oh, I pity you, I'm so sorry, like that must suck being in your position," there's a bit of this element of them being inferior to you because of the cards that they've been dealt or the misfortunes that they've had to endure. And you're further perpetuating the separateness between you and your experiences and their experience of pain and trauma. You're putting a massive divide between you and other, and you're fueling your ego in a lot of ways by reifying this concept that you're so separate from them that you can't even fathom bearing the pain and the trauma that they've had to endure. Now let's go back to empathy. So with empathy, I feel there are two critical components that if you aren't fully embodying these components of empathy, then you're not truly empathizing with anyone or anything, right? So these two components are 1, recognition or recognizing, and 2, deeply understanding. So with recognition, you are fully and 100% standing up in the face of that person's pain and their trauma and saying, "I acknowledge you, I see you, and I will hold space for you no matter how uncomfortable it is for me to witness your pain and hold space for you." So when we recognize, we're not only acknowledging that person's pain, but we're looking directly into their soul and acknowledging their humanness. We are saying, "You're human just like me, and the pain that you're experiencing, although it's happening to you, I will allow myself to hold space because we are ultimately both humans having a human experience," right? So this may feel a bit woo-woo for you, but if you can actually sit there and recognize someone else's suffering. You look at it directly in the eyes, no matter how deeply unsettling it is for you, no matter how uncomfortable you become, no matter how much the truth makes you want to jump out of your skin, you sit with it, you sit in it, and you let that person open up and show you the depths of their pain. If you can recognize in that way, then you are already making such massive contributions to the shift in collective consciousness. But it doesn't stop there. Just because your recognition is leaving a positive impact on your environment and your internal environment, it does not stop there. And that's where the second component of understanding comes in. So you've held space, you've sat with your discomfort, you've allowed that person to crack open and show you their wounds. And now you understand. With understanding someone's pain, that's not to say you're sitting there trying to know every single facet of that person's pain. You will never know the ins and outs of someone else's wounds. Even if it's your best friend, your sister, your mother, your partner, and you've spent decades and decades of being in that person's life, and you guys have healthy communication, and they're sharing with you the different facets and layers of their wounds and trauma, you will still not know it because it's not yours. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you can or can't know. What matters is that you understand. You can sit there and you can say, I am human like you. I am in this continuous stream of human suffering just by being alive like you. So I can understand what it feels like to lose a loved one, to lose your job, to lose everything, to be in such pain and despair. I may not know every facet of that pain, but I can sit here and understand. What have those experiences done to that person to shape them, to shape their worldview? If you can understand that that person's trauma, their pain, their wounds, their suffering, that shaped them and their worldviews in such a uniquely special way, if you can see that, then you're opening your heart. You're expanding your love. You're willing to embrace them with open arms. You're closing that gap and dissolving that divide and saying, you are human just like me. Your pain is ultimately my pain. Whether or not I will ever experience that pain first-handedly, whether or not I will ever suffer like you have suffered, none of that matters. All that matters is that you are my human brother, my human sister, and we're in this human experience together. So if you can recognize and understand, then you have cultivated this powerful container to empathize. You're telling the world, I am here, I understand, and I support you in any way that you need me to in this moment and moving forward, because I want to show up for you, my fellow human being. Thank you guys. If you have any comments, share your thoughts below. How have you empathized or made the distinction between empathy and sympathy in your own life? Let's start a conversation. Like, subscribe. I love you guys. Thank you.